Greetings and salutations everybody, Playtendoguy here, and today I'm bringing you my review of the brand new Metroid spin-off Federation Force. But is this multiplayer side game worthy of the Metroid Prime title, or is it yet another disappointment? Let's find out. They say first impressions count, especially when it comes to video games. A 2 or 3 minute reveal trailer of a game can either make or break the success of that game. One game that has received such a mauling from its fans is Metroid Prime Federation Force. When it was first revealed at E3 last year, it had such a hostile reception, with many hoping Nintendo would just can it and release a proper Metroid for its 30th anniversary. But no, Nintendo kept with it, and you know what, I'm glad they did, as shockingly it's the most surprising game of the year. Well, for me it is. The game is quite similar to last year's Zelda multiplayer spin-off Triforce Heroes, where it takes the familiar single-player franchise then tweak it a bit for a multiplayer audience. But unlike Triforce Heroes, the game is highly playable on your own. The story of what there is takes place after the events of Prime 3 corruption, and with the galaxy still in distress after the destruction of Phase, the Galactic Federation has decided to start a new operation of attack on the space pirates. This operation is called Golem, which sees soldiers piloting these giant mechs, and you're one of the fresh faces to join this crew, and this is where the game starts off. Those hoping for a really interesting story will be bitterly disappointed, as it's pretty simple, but as it's a spin-off, it's to be expected. The main game is set in the Bermuda system, and the 22 missions the game offers is split between 3 planets. These planets vary. You have Exelion, which is a frozen wasteland, then you have Bion, which is your desert-like world, where you look for various alien secrets, and the final planet is Talvania, which is a gaseous planet which is home to an ancient robot race. The planets you visit may not be as many as I'd like, but thankfully the missions more than make up for it. The missions offer enough variety, offering you a good range of shooting, exploring and solving puzzles. One mission you may be tasked with bringing down a big old monster, another one will see you leaving your mech behind to break into an enemy's base. All of the game's missions offer plenty of fun, and while there may be 1 or 2 weak links, like the one where you have to lure big hulking ice titans into cages, will provide a fair bit of rage, all the other levels are highly replayable. If you're playing on your own, I'm happy to report that unlike the Zelda multiplayer spin-off Triforce Heroes, it's actually really fun. The game's difficulty doesn't change to the player count, so if you're playing on your own, some missions may be harder as they're built for more players. But they're not impossible to complete, they just offer a good challenge, which is great. Playing online is an absolute joy. Each of the 22 missions are fully playable online, and up to 4 players can join you in on a mission. While there may not be a lot of folks playing online, as the servers are quite empty due to the poor sales of the game, thankfully the game runs really well online with hardly any drops in frame rate. It is a shame, however, that there isn't any voice chat in the game whatsoever, though it should be expected as Nintendo don't really include voice chat in any of their games. How long is the game, I hear you ask? Well, the 22 missions on offer will take around 7 to 10 hours on your first run to complete. And while that may not sound like a lot, there's quite a fair bit to do once the credits roll. Each level has 3 medals you can earn by trying to replay and reach the high score for that stage. There's also bonus objectives for each mission, so there's plenty of fun here for score chasers to come back to. There's also secret mods that are scattered around each mission. These mods are hidden in some great places, so it does offer another reason to go back and explore. Your mech itself is quite customizable. You can unlock and change paint jobs, some of which have special buffs. You can also give your mech up to 3 mods to help you in the missions. These mods allow you to increase defense, more powerful gear and the like, but one mod is incredibly useful, but you can only use it in the single player as it doubles your damage and halves the damage you receive, which is quite handy as some of the missions can provide a good challenge. Before you are just about to start the mission, you can choose what inventory you want your mech to carry. These vary from missiles to ice missiles to fire to even decoys to confuse the enemies. There's plenty of different types of inventory available, but here's the strategic part. Your mech can only carry so many items, so you have to plan ahead. When playing online, the inventory is shared between the players, so you have to pick what you want before it's gone. Once you complete the main campaign, there's another mode included in the game called Blast Ball. This multiplayer 3v3 mode is basically Rocket League without the cars and in with the mechs. It's a rather fun affair, and while it isn't fast paced like Rocket League, it still does provide enough enjoyment. Thankfully, Blast Ball is playable in both single player and multiplayer, so if you're playing on your own, you'll be able to get the taste of the action. When playing on your own, The other players will be controlled by the AI, while playing online is way more fun, and thankfully it runs really well as the main game with hardly any connection problems at all. Amiibo are also used in the game, which is to be expected as Nintendo likes to use these plastic figures with most of their own games. Amiibo use here is fairly unspectacular, with only a handful of figures compatible with the game. The Samus and the Zero Suit Samus Amiibo unlock Samus's iconic suit and a Zero Suit colour mech for use with the main game, while the Mario figures unlock different colour mechs for Blast Ball. Apart from the Samus suit, the Amiibo unlocks here are pretty underwhelming. I thought I'd like to talk about the controls in this game, as we haven't had many, if any, first-person shooters on the 3DS, and the main reason why that has happened is how it would control. And you know what, the game controls quite well. I played it primarily on the new 3DS, and that enables playing with a twin analog stick setup that works moderately well. For those with a normal 3DS, you can use the circle pad to move and the gyro to shoot like Splatoon on the Wii U gamepad. It works well, but neither will have the upper hand. Next level games should be applauded for how close the controls feel to the Metroid Prime trilogy. Sound now, and the game features a moderately forgettable soundtrack with a few noteworthy tracks throughout the whole game. There's a lack of voice acting in the game, but there is commands you can make your characters shout out in multiplayer to give other players hints. They sound alright. It's also quite nice to see that you can change the language of what your character says. The Japanese voice lines are probably the highlight of the voice lines available. Presentation wise now, and the game looks absolutely stunning, offering some great character models and some really detailed vistas. It's no surprise as developer Next Level Games created the gorgeous Luigi's Mansion 2. The game looks fantastic in 3D with some of the best uses of 3D I've ever seen. The 3DS was certainly made for this type of game. Conclusion time now, and I give Metroid Prime Federation Force an 8.5 out of 10 with a title of great. Federation Force certainly got a lot of undue hate for not being Prime 4 or a traditional Metroid title, and while I must admit I was underwhelmed when it was originally announced, the game has turned out to be a massive surprise. With a fun and varied campaign full of action, puzzles and exploration that's both enjoyable online as well as off, and a decent little side mode in Blast Ball, so there's plenty to do here. While it may not be a Metroid game we all wanted, do not let it turn you off buying it, as it's well worth a buy. As ever, thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and keep on gaming. Bye!